And we are live. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here today because we're going to talk about one new exciting feature that we just shipped in Crystallize. And of course, to do that, I have with me Rui again.
Hello, hello. Nice to be
Hello.
back.
Yeah, he's one of the persons kind of involved in the development of the whole feature. So it's I think this is really the right person to bring in here. So what we're going to talk about today is tiered pricing. We've heard from a lot of our customers that actually managing the complexity of tiered pricing for products is it's quite complicated, and we decided to kind of take that and build all the infrastructure, everything around it, so we can actually help you to just easily jump and start using tiered pricing. When we talk about tiered pricing, like really the first thing that comes in my mind, and because this is something that we already have as a product, are metered variables in subscription contracts, where we have defined different tiers for the metered variables, right? We have prices and tiers could be either a volume or a graduated. We're going to go in more details in all of that. And then when the usage comes, we see in which bracket we fail, and then we decide the final price. So kind of the concept of tiered pricing, it's very much similar to actually what we have today for metered variables in subscription contracts, which for people who are familiar with subscription contracts, I think this is going to be very, very easy to grasp it, right? Because kind of the way that it works is very similar. Cool. Rui, should we kind of take a look maybe and first try to explain a little bit more of
Yes.
what are pricing, what are different options there for like graduated and volume based, and then we take it from there, see how that works in Crystallize eventually.
Yes, so let's do that. So as you said here, we're going to talk about the tiered pricing, where we have two specific use cases here with working with volume, meaning the quantities of product you buy and that the price should be affected due to that. And then the graduated, where a specific price will either go down or up depending on quantity also. So these are the two use cases we're going to show you today. And the idea of what we're going to show you today is really, we have set up a very basic example here. It's a real Crystallize tenant. So we have real products in there that we're having, and we're doing a coffee use case where we thought that was a good use case. When you buy coffee, you might buy large quantities, and then the price can go down. So the two types of pricings we're going to have here is one that is free, actually, a normal one, so a fixed price for something, and then we have this volume pricing where depending on the quantities you will see here that the prices will go down, and then this graduated pricing where each individual item becomes cheaper depending on the quantities that you put in there. And on top of that, I done it here in a use case a little bit more like B2B, because that's often a common use case that you offer to wholesalers that buy a lot of things from you. You often give discounted prices. So this is a way to go deeper in the complexity there of what you can do to manage and to set it up to your business requirements.
And
I
maybe
think that's a little bit
what is. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I just wanted to say that what is interesting here and what really describes the whole model of volume and graduated is this one kind of cyan line that you have in volume and tiered pricing at the bottom. Probably, Rui, if you can go a little bit more of, exactly. This line, I think, explains very well what is what.
Yes, exactly. So we can see here as we reached, the little arrow here indicates how many you have in your cart at the moment. And as we reach this level, our unit price will be $14.90 in this case.
For all the items, right?
For all the items together, exactly. And here we also have 60 units, but we can see the first 9 has a specific cost, the next 40 another cost, and then the last 11 that comes in the third bracket here gets a third price. So this is how we're gonna explain it also here. So yes, but to do this, I often like showing it more from an end consumer's perspective. So our customers, how they will experience this, maybe shopping in their e-commerce shop. So so what we have done here is then go to a little store that we have, and this little store is very basic. We have 4 products. We have some coffee, and we have some coffee mugs. So up here we have those switch for the retail and B2B, just to very easily be able to switch between the two perspectives. And you who know Crystallize, you know about our price list and how you can manage all of this. Just to show this and prove it, we can put something in our cart, and when we calculate what this cart is, the system will know it's a flat price, and therefore our has the cost that is stated in here. This is how it works today, kind of straightforward, and you can use all aspects of Crystallize on top of that.
So maybe here, just let me say that. So what you were showing here with the cart, behind the scene, this is using the Crystallize shop API, right? To hydrate the cart, to keep the cart state and manage the cart all together. And this is where actually you get the information that this was kind of the main price for the product and all that information. Correct, right?
Exactly like that. So each it goes and finds the dedicated price for this use case for the person that's in the shop. And that's how the shop API helps your end consumer get the right price at the right moment here.
Great.
But if we switch now over to the B2B use case, we will see we have some more information in here, and I tried to write out as much as possible to make it, clear for you, the audience here, of what is happening. And we have the same products, so it's the same Crystallize system in the background, the same shapes and the same items in there, so we can do the same thing. This one has a flat price, but as we have a different price list, of course, same as today, we have that same price list. And just to show it again, it will figure out that it has this flat price and therefore just charge me for what I expect. But if we go over to something that is based on a volume, we can see here different quantities. So the idea here is, as we said before, the first ones will have a specific price, but once you go over a certain thing, the unit price will go down to what is stated in here. So to mimic all of this, both I have a calculation here in the front end that will give me this use case here directly, so I can see what is the expected value for me. So I can go and up, and you will see how it will jump as soon as I get to 50. But if we do 10 of those, we add it to cart, also to show how the shop API calculates all of this. It's not my front end. We also will resolve there that we are in the 10 plus tier, and therefore we have this unit price, and we can offer the end total for the consumer in there. It's also based on that B2B price. So we already had a different price list that was from the retail store.
So let me just kind of summarize something here, because I think this is the exciting part. So can you open again the cart, the shopping cart for this one item? So basically what you're saying here is that all this calculation that's based on the bracket where we fail and what's the price for each bracket and how this is calculated is pretty much done on the shop API side. So we don't need to do anything. Shop API just gives us the final total price and calculates everything. So we don't need to kind of implement that on our own. Is that kind of what you're saying here?
Yes, exactly. That's my understanding. Like the shop API helps resolve the accurate price for that use case.
Great.
So again, I mean, you're the technical guy, Vasil, so you're the one who has to say it to the people. Like there's no migration needed or anything you have to do in order to start leveraging this. Of course, you have to set it up, and I will get to the part of how it's set up in Crystallize.
I just wanted to emphasize that actually Shop API and Discovery API, they will all take care of your tier pricing. So you don't need to really worry about all that calculations and determining like where you fall in which bracket based on quantity and so on, right? So all of this is taken care, it's implemented, is like backwards compatible. So the pricing works the same way that it works today. And on top of that, if you add your tier pricing, then you get these new things. That's kind of the thing to emphasize here. Yeah,
that's super neat. So you can add these tier pricing without affecting any existing pricing, is what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
So you can start setting it up in there. But okay, we also have this second one. The reason why I have two of them in the volume here is just to show later when we get in and we look at the actual price that I set up, the price variant. It's using the same structure here because we have the same levels, but the prices are different, right? So clearly this Ethiopian single origin Ethiopian bean is a bit more expensive than the classic house blender that we have offering here. but in the background is using the same price variant, the price structure. So there's no necessity of doing unique of those. So it's the same price in that, but different prices, not because clearly different products. And here we have, of course, the same functionality, and we can see how it's also resolving to the number 10. And just to make it very clear, let's do a much bigger one, and we can see it should resolve then to 100 plus here instead, and therefore give us a different unit price. So this was the volume one. And I think I want to show you the other one also as an end consumer before we jump into Crystallize. So bear with me here, where we have now this what's called the graduated. So it goes like in grades. And here again, as we said before, to repeat a little bit, we have a unit price. So my first 9 takeaway cups here will cost $7.90, but the 10th will cost $6.90. So if I go up here and I go to the 9, we can see here that we have 710, and 710 plus 790 is the 79. And so those who are not that quick at math, I can show you here also that it should turn out to 79. But when I go to the next one, I actually only charge $6.90. That's $1 less. So the expectation here is that we're going to get 78. As we see here, we added that one. We are now on 78. The cool thing here, what it does is that it recalculates a new unit price. So now each of them, the actual value is 70.80 per unit here. Exactly. Yeah. And of course, going up to even higher, you will see how this number will gradually, become smaller and smaller, because that I think what makes sense. And to do the same thing here, we can add these 50 to my cart and hydrate it again, just to see that it resolves the same thing as we saw there in the front end. Now again, it's the shop API that is resolving this and giving it back to us, and not our front end. And so now we have these two variants of tiered pricing in a way. I'm not going to show it to you guys, but of course you can have additional price list and markets for things to make it even more complex. Here you get a little sneak peek of what that would be. It's just an additional argument or information in here to get the prices, and that should work accordingly.
So here we are combining what you're saying, that we are combining here price lists, like the price from a price list and the price from the tier pricing, and then Shop API does all the calculations behind the scene and then gives you the final price for the item, which I think is really what kind of removes all that friction, that complication of making, setting up that on your own, and rather just using Shop API where everything just comes calculated and ready for use. I think this is a really, really good.
Exactly. And I think the key thing is here, you can offer your consumers these type of experiences where they, they can use this tool to calculate it and get, get informed what it will cost them, and, hopefully make a purchase. But okay, so let's go in here and take a look at how this works. So to start with, I can look in my price variants here. So I'm in this tenant right now, where we had the default price you saw in the normal case. And then we have these tiered pricing for the B2B wholesale, as I call it in here. So if I go in and look at this, if you create a new price variant.
A little bit, I'm sorry.
No problem. So when you create a new price variant, and you can then select if you want this to be a tiered pricing, and you have some predefined options here where you can select if it's a free-form entry, or if you have presets, or if you allow a combination of free-form presets. What that means is the free-form, what it means is that you can add more tiers directly on the item shape or the item in there, or you can do it very rigid going in there. In this case, I will show you how it looks on the product soon. I chose the open format to be able to show you that. But here we have then our different, different tiers that we have in here. Something that goes from 1, 10 to 100, something that goes from 1, 10, 50 to 100, for example. We have different breakpoints. And then the graduated one, where we had this 1, 10, 50, and 100 again. So here we just have the limits. There's and we define, okay, these are the tiers that we go through, right?
Yeah.
But then we have to aggregate the actual prices to each individual item.
Yeah, these are just the setting of the tiers, as you're saying, which are presets that can be just reused. So you don't need to define these brackets every time. You can say just use one of these brackets pretty much.
Exactly. You can add more of those and start making a new preset if you want in here and just add the different breakpoints. So it's very easy. It's just clicking to get you to a place where you can have these levels and the brackets. But let's look at a product.
Yeah.
And let's look here, our little shop, where we do have our 4 products that we had there in our shop. And we can take a look at one of those. So let's start with one that was, let's do the Ethiopian one, where we have here our product, our bin here, as you saw in the shop. And if I go to my variant, I will be able to see here the different prices that we have in here. And this is new. So now also here you can see the prices in this of the tiers here. So it will show up here. So here I can now start adding my individual prices for the different volume tiers that we have in here. So therefore, this Ethiopian was a bit more expensive than the other one, and I had this prices right here. And if I go to my and you can see just like the different levels, and it's as easy as any price, I think. And our other house plan, of course, has the same structure but different prices. So these were the 2. There was volume, so we had the 2 volumes in there. But like I could very easily here just switch it to a graduated one because I do it as individual variant. Or I give you the other example where we had our takeaway cups, where we will have this, graduated way. And again, here I think it's kind of straightforward. This is the price for 1 to 9, and so on and so forth. And as I said before, if you had this free form enabled, you can actually add, an additional more tiers. I can say like at 200 it goes there. And of course, I need to give it a price. Then it's going to be super cheap, for example. And as easy as that, I can just add one, publish a change, and start using that in my collections. So I think, yes, and I think that's what we had prepared for today, right? We'll see. And
maybe, just to mention here something quickly as well, something that you see here at the bottom of this page, the price list. So this is also something new that we just added. So now when you open the price variant, you can see if that variant, if that SKU with that price variant is in some price list. And this is a quick kind of overview of everything related around the price for this particular SKU, right? And as you can see in this case, this item is part of the Nordic B2B minus 10% discount. So this is a quick way to see where your items, to which prices they belong. Exactly. Apart from that, I think that's pretty much summarizes everything. We have the configuration part that we showed in the beginning under the settings, and then how we apply the tiered pricing on a particular item, where you define based on the brackets, either as a preset or a freeform, you define what's the price for each bracket. And I think that's pretty much concludes everything that we prepared for today. So give it a go. As I said, this works backwards compatible, right? So it works with existing prices, the prices that you have, and you can add it on top of it and see how that works. I think that was all from us. If you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.